I don't know if anybody can see me. Can you guys see me? If you can see me, please tell me that you can see me so that I can know what next to do. Are people here? Are people here and you can see me? Please, if you can't, just put it down so I can know that people are following me. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think we're live now.
Yeah, we are live. Can you hear me? Okay, that's very beautiful. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So sorry. I need to make sure that my phone is charging. Sorry about that. This YouTube has
this your landscape.
I'm so sorry about that. YouTube has struggled.
This your landscape.
I literally don't know why we couldn't go live initially, and I kept trying it. It just wasn't going live, and I was like, hey Jesus, what am I going to do? I even thought that we should start another one, send another link. Then I said, let me try it one more time before I finally send the link, and then that's how it worked. So can you hear me properly?
Okay. Deco, I think it's a bit difficult hearing you. Maybe it's your network. I'm not sure. Okay. But can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me? Can you hear me very well as well?
Okay.
Can you hear me very well?
Yeah, but you keep breaking. But I'll try to strain my ear to hear you.
I don't know if it's my network. Is it my network? Because I'm using Airtel for crying out loud.
It
Why are they fucking up?
It has to be your Glow network. Or let people put it in the chat box if they can hear you.
Okay, so people can hear.
Let people put it in the chat box if they can hear us. Yes.
Yes, if you can hear both of us,
I can't
please
see any
say
message.
that you can hear both of us so that we would know what next to do. We're already behind schedule and we have to be as fast. If you can hear both of us, please put it in the comment section that you can hear both of us.
Yes. If you can hear me, just say I can hear you, Fikayo. So I can't see any chat.
Yeah, apparently. But I can hear you and I hope that you can hear me as well.
I can hear you, but you are breaking.
Terribly? Oh, okay.
Not
Someone
terribly.
said we can hear you guys.
But just don't try to talk so fast.
Okay, no problem. Yes.
Just take it one step at a time. Yes.
Okay. Okay. People say that they can hear. That's very beautiful. So let's get straight to what we have to do today. So once more, everyone, thank you so much for coming to today's episode of Law School Connect with Dear Daniels. This is the first episode actually, and I thought about having this kind of episode because we all know the problem of law school, right? And a lot of people have this mentality that law school is a place where they are basically going to kill their mental health, or a place where it's extremely difficult to have academic excellence. And at the end of the day, we realized that the 2022 set went to law school and came out with 25 first class from the University of Lagos. So if we have a perspective like, oh, it's so difficult to make a first class, law school is mentally draining, law school is this, law school is a hell, is a shithole, is a lot of things that people say. If we have people say a lot of those things, and we still have out of 200 and I think 68 people that were posted to law school from the University of Lagos, 25 of them still made a first class, and over 100 people made a first class at law school. Are there things that people are doing right that other people are doing wrong? It begs that question. What are the do's and don'ts of law school? Probably there is something you need to know about law school before getting there, so that it forms. Okay, I think Fikayo is gone. Fikayo, are you here? Are you back here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, dear Ko.
Okay, very good. So I think that there's something that. Great. I think that is something that they are doing right the people who got 25 first class from Unilag, that's University of Lagos, Nigeria, and from people who got 100 and something, I think 18 first class from the whole of Nigeria. I think that they are doing something right that other people need to emulate to get academic excellence. And that is the reason I am bringing at least three of these people to come and speak to us about certain do's and don'ts and certain study plan or best study plan. I think somebody's saying something. Okay. A best study plan that we can have in relation to academic excellence, as well as other questions that we need to have. And that is the reason why we have the Law School Connect. It's going to be per episode, and I don't know when the next episode would be, but when I feel that it is needed, I'll create the next episode. But I would make sure that we keep having the episodes of this nature in order to guide law students across Nigeria towards academic excellence, which should be their primary goal. So once again, I am Olayeni, Dear Kolola Daniels, popularly known as Dear Call Spectre, and welcome to another episode of Law School Connect with Dear Call Daniels. So today we have three very interesting people who are first class graduates from law school 2022 sets, and because YouTube restricts us to having just one person at a time, it would mean that for each person's we are going to have allocate 30 minutes for each person's to speak to us about their experiences. So apparently we are having Agha Fikayo, who you can currently see her on the screen. She is going to be our first person for today's meeting, and I'm very sure that a lot of you are here with so many expectations and so many questions to ask. I hope that at the end of this meeting you will have all your questions answered and all your expectations met. And I'm very sure that if you implement most of the things that are being told here, not only would they be extremely useful for you as a law school aspirant, I'm very sure even at your undergraduate days, for those of us that are still, undergraduate students, I'm very sure that the tips here will still be as important for you for your undergraduate courses to get the most that you can get, the academic excellence from your undergraduate days. Because I think that most of the people here, though did not get first class from their undergraduate times, but they had a second class upper. And if you are from University of Lagos, having a second class upper is as good as having a first class, because so from University of Lagos, we had just one first class in the class of, I was a class rep, so in a class of about 400 to 500, there's just one person. So imagine having a 2-1. That is as good as the first class. So I'm very sure that the tips that you would get from this meeting would be as useful for the law school aspirants as well as for the undergraduate. Just make sure you tune in and get the best that you can get. So we go to our first person, but before I ask her first question, as well as go into the program proper, I would like to read a biography. Please, Fikayo, is my sound and everything, is it good to go? Like, am I communicating properly? Just want to be sure.
Yes, yes, you are, but I'm straining to hear you. Can you
Oh,
hear
okay,
me?
okay, okay. I'm so sorry about that. That has definitely to be.
Okay, Dieko, are you there? Hi, Dieko, can you hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
You can hear me properly.
yes.
Okay, so that's very good. So I'll just go straight. It's network glitching and all that. So sorry about that. So I'll just go straight. But you can hear me properly while I want to read the profile now. Can you hear me very well?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so Ada Fikayo is a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. She recently got called to the Nigerian bar after finishing amongst the top 2% of her class with a first class honors. She studied law at the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and finished with a second class upper. She currently works with one of the leading law firms in Africa and voluntarily serves as the project manager of Global Schools, an initiative of the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. She is a quality education advocate and a development enthusiast. When not working, she loves listening to classics, watching Korean drama, and reading. That's a very beautiful one. Once again, thank you so much, Agha Fikayo, for coming to our first edition of Law School Connect with Dear Daniels. We are extremely grateful to have you right here. So, to the first questions for today, are you ready to answer the questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so to the first question for today,
Yes,
um,
yes.
what was your when you were going into law school? Because there's this perspective that you shouldn't aim as high as possible, so that when you don't at the end of the day get the results, and or the result is falls short of your expectation, you don't get depressed and all that. So when you were going into law school, did you go with the mentality that you were going to get a first class from law school? You know what I'm talking about. Did you go to law school with that mentality that you're going to get the first class? And when you eventually saw your results, were you extremely happy, or it was like, oh, well, I expected it? So, I mean, so how was the disposition the first time you saw your results and when you were going to law school?
Okay, I think I should first start by correcting you. I'm project officer for Global Schools, not project manager. There's a difference. So
Oh,
I know
so
that this
sorry
video
about
is
that.
going to go public. So I don't want, yeah, exactly. I don't want to
Yeah,
create any
I understand that. So
misconception.
sorry about that.
So first of all, that's fine. That's fine. First of all, I think everything starts with the mind. And I'm sorry if this is sounding like some aspire to perspire, whatever, but everything is all up in the mind and you have to psych yourself. So I finished with a 2-1 from University of Lagos, and my 2-1 was not a great 2-1. It wasn't a 4 point, it was a 3 point something. So I told myself in law school, you're going to get a first class. I didn't think of how it was going to be possible. I didn't know how it was going to be possible. But the Bible says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So I told myself, I prepared myself in the mind that okay, I'm going there to get a first class. And when people say you shouldn't aim too high, I think that is a crap belief, because if you now want to aim too low, what if you now fall beyond or below the expectation? So it's good to aim too high. I'm aware that there are some people that they aim very high in law school and they fall way below their expectations and it affects them. Life happens, yes. But I think for everyone out there that will be going to law school, aim high. During the journey, of course, there were challenges, like life has challenges. Everybody who has gone through law school also has challenges. And there were times I told myself, you see, this first class, I'm not doing again. At the start of it, I was like, oh, first class all the way, first class all the way. And I had the reading group. I remember talking to one of my study group partners and my friend. I was like, see this first class, oh, I'm not interested again. There was a time I was battling with anxiety. I was battling with high blood pressure. I called my mom. She was like, I didn't send you to go and have first class. Oh. Just pass and be coming home. I'm telling you, at some point, I just felt, you know what, let me just have it 2-1 and be going. But I knew deep down that the efforts I was putting were first class efforts, because when I think about it, my result was a surprise and it wasn't a okay. If you ask anybody that went to law
I
school
think I
and
think
wrote
your
bar
network glitched.
finals
I
September,
think your network glitched. Can you just say what you said, like
okay, yes,
last line?
okay. So if you ask anybody that went to law school this year, wrote bar finals this year, the questions were they shanked us big time. They
Are you
did
serious?
dirty big time. So when I wrote the exams, and yes, they did us dirty. When I wrote the
Okay.
exams, I was like, 2-1, they're bad. If it's a 2-1, fine. But when I saw the results, I was happy. Then I recollected the consistency, the hard work, the effort that I put in, and I was like, girl, you deserved it. So yes,
Okay.
you need to psych yourself mentally. You need to be prepared mentally. You need to keep telling yourself what you want. Although sometimes things can get really tough, the time can get really going. Some people they'll say you will tell them you want a first class from law school, and they'll say, is it not? Is pass not okay? So you just have to deal with your mindset
Pass
first.
from
Yes,
law school.
yes.
Ah,
People legit told me that when I told them I wanted a first, and they were like, is pass not okay?
wow.
So yes,
Okay.
you have to psych yourself mentally first of all, and you must be ready to do the work.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So every one of us that is here. If you are going to law school, I think that the mentality you are taking to law school matters a lot. So therefore, if you are going to law school, you should have that mentality of getting a first class, because I think that if you aim, there's no way you aim for something. Okay. There's a way, but
Mm-hmm.
it's unlikely that you are going to aim for something and get something higher. Most time when you aim for something, you get something lower. So imagine that you're aiming for 2-1, you are most likely to get something lower than 2-1. So instead of that, why don't you just aim for first class and put the whole work? At the end of the day, be bad in one badge, now 2-1 you go get, right? So why don't you aim for first class and get
Mm-hmm.
any you know okay. So with that, we go to the to our next question. At law school, they usually give tasks, right? They usually give tasks almost every time, and I know that
Mm-hmm.
you guys are my classmates. So most of the time, you guys just come and write on your status, "Hey Jesus, they want to finish us. Today's task never finished. They bring another task. So another task never finished. They bring another task." So you guys were always complaining about the tax, but I think there was a time when they said that tax are always very important. So for those people that are here that do not understand what tax is, I think that you should also clarify what that is for them, and then tell us how important those tasks are.
Okay, so I'm not going to give anybody bad advice here, but well, the tasks are usually called the pre-class assignments. So they'll
Okay,
give you pre-class assignments. So if you
okay,
have criminal litigation on Monday, your lecturer would have sent the pre-class assignment to the class rep who will circulate
okay,
it. So law school does a particular grouping. So if your registration number is 002, for instance, you're going to be in group 2. So the last digits of your registration number will determine the group you're going to fall into. So I
okay,
was in group 7, and that was because my registration number was 797. So I
okay,
wasn't going for group meetings. I wasn't really like doing all those tasks. I had my own personal study group. So when people were complaining about the tax, me, I was chilling. Let me just be truthful to you. So what I was doing, I wasn't doing the pre-class assignments, to be very honest. And I'm not saying you should do the same. I wasn't doing the pre-class assignments
yeah,
before class, even though it was pre-class assignments.
okay,
I'm not going to be advising people to do what I did. Do what works for you. That's what I'll tell
okay,
you. I did the pre-class assignment after the class. I attempted it by myself. So most times I will listen to our lecturers, I will listen to the correction, then I will go back to my hostel and listen, and write this pre-class assignment or attempt it with my study group members. So that was majorly what I was doing. So I wasn't doing the pre-class assignment before, although the pre-class assignment helps you a lot in, assessing your knowledge, testing how well you understand the topic that was taught. So it's very good to attempt the pre-class. I think dear call left, but you need to take things one step at a time. Like you don't need to overburden yourself. You need to take things one step at a time. If you know you cannot answer the pre-class before, try to attempt it after the class. Okay. Dear call just left. So dear call. Okay. Dear call. Okay. Diako is still not back, but I think I will just go on and talk. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. Please let me know. Let me just see it in the chat box. Okay, you are here. Okay, thank you. Fantastic. Because issue network has issues. Okay, it's back.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Clearly, because I'm using my earpiece now. I
Because
don't
it's
think I can.
difficult hearing you.
Is it difficult hearing me right now as well?
It's difficult hearing you. I have to strain myself.
Ah, God. It's quite difficult for me because, my phone is overheating. Apparently, iPhone overheats. So I have to put on the fan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have to put on the fan, and when I do, I can't hear you clearly. So therefore, I have to use the earpiece to hear you clearly.
Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
you must have it. You get. When I put off the fan, my phone was overheating. So I don't want us to stop this thing again. So but you can at least hear me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's
So I'll
difficult.
try to
It's
be
difficult hearing you.
I'll try to be as audible as possible. Right? Can you hear me with my
Dear
audibility?
please.
It's not
See if I
feasible
can
for
hear
you. It's not feasible for you. Fikayo, it's not feasible for
you.
you.
Okay, can you speak, Jericho?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So you can hear me now.
It's faint.
What is it?
It's faint. It's faint. Hearing you.
Okay, I just disconnected the earpiece. Is it still faint?
Please, can you? I will try as much as possible to be audible, but can you remove?
Yes. Because I'm struggling to hear you. Okay. Jericho, could you speak?
Can you hear me now, Fikayo?
Yes. It's clear. It's clear.
Just, just give me a moment. I want to see if you are going to hear me with the
Okay.
earpiece on.
Okay.
Can you hear me with the earpiece on?
I can.
Fikayo. Okay, good. So where did you stop the last time? Well, when I got disconnected, I'm so sorry for getting disconnected. Where did you stop? You were talking about the class task.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the
Can
class
you
task.
speak?
Yes. I'm speaking.
I can't hear you clearly, Jericho.
So you were talking about the class task during the last time before you got
Mm-hmm.
disconnected.
Yes.
So I don't know where exactly you stopped. Where did you stop?
So I've actually finished the question when your network logged you out. But I said I
Just give me a
wasn't
moment,
diligent
please.
with the
Sorry.
pre-class. I wasn't diligent. Okay. Can I go?
So sorry. Yes, so I can hear you now. So you were saying?
Okay. I said I wasn't diligent with the pre-class assignments. I was always before. So I told people that, oh, I can see a laugh. I told people that you have to do what works for you, to be very honest. If the pre-class assignment is going to stress you, because law school expects you to read before coming to class and you have a lot to read. So I was reading each topic that we had for the day and finishing the pre-class assignment. Either I do it by myself or I'm doing it with my study group members. So I think that answers the question.
Okay. Yeah. Another question. So for the pre-class assignments, your own submission, so to say, is that it depends on what works for you. You didn't do it before, although law school
Mhm,
expects you to do it before. You didn't do it before the class. You did yours after the class, and then you solved it yourself. And also, when it comes to the general study group, you didn't engage with the general study group. You had your own study group. Am I correct? Yeah, you
Yes.
had your own study group, and that is through your study group that you guys discussed. So, as opposed to the general study group that
Yes.
is assigned by law school and stuff like that. Okay, so for everybody here, I hope that
Yes.
you are able to get that pre-class assignment. Does law school mandate it like a must for you to do it before the class, or law school advises that you do it before the class? The pre-class assignment.
It's called pre-class. It's called pre-class assignment for a reason. That means you're supposed to do it before the class.
Yeah,
But
I'm
nobody is going
asking
to
if they
beat you if you
mandate
don't do
it.
the assignment.
Do they mandate it, or they just
So the thing
advise
is,
you?
it depends on your campus. So the thing is, the pre-class assignment is given to you as a group.
Okay,
It's given to you,
okay,
yes, to
okay,
so you are
okay.
supposed to go to your respective groups and
Groups
do the
and
pre-class
discuss it.
assignment. Not like you
Okay,
do
now
it
now it makes sense.
exactly, not like you do it on your own.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. So now,
Yes.
next question. A lot of people ask this question of draft. In law school, you are going to draft tire. You are going to, and in my head, first of all, wait till be draft. I know what draft is, but why is drafting so important? Is it such that without drafting you cannot pass the exam? Must you? And also, how? So the question is, how important is drafting? And the second question then will now be, how then are you able to cram those drafts? Because the level at which it is, a lot of people are saying that there are a lot of drafts, right? So if there are a lot of drafts, which means that it's important, how important are they? And then secondly, how were you able to manage cramming, or let's say understanding or knowing the draft? If you say you did not cram it, you get. So how were you able to cram or know it? Do you understand?
So the first thing is drafts. Let me explain what drafts are. So first of all, let me take a course like property. So they'll teach you a topic like power of attorney, one of the elementary courses that law school will teach you. So when they teach you power of attorney, there is a draft. So when you want to, should I say, actualize the power of attorney, you need to pen it down. So you actually need to authorize somebody through the letter or through the power of attorney. So you need to learn what it looks like. So the thing is, you have to take these things systematically. You can't cram drafts. Some people do, but I didn't cram drafts. I learned the structure. And the thing is, you don't learn drafts by reciting it, in my own opinion. You learn drafts by drafting it. I had a mentor in law school, and she used to tell me, you learn drafts by drafting it. So you take it bit by bit. They want to know that you get the structure. You don't need to get the wordings because you're going to encounter different drafts books. And these different drafts books, they will have different wordings. And you don't need to stress your head. Like, there are so
sorry
many things
sorry
that
to
you need to
sorry to
learn
cut you.
and know in law
Is
school.
there a draft book that is the most preferred that you used, that was synonymous with that used, given by law school? Like, is there a recommended draft book?
No, there is no recommended draft book, to be very
Okay,
honest. I just had this PDF for different courses, for like five
okay.
of our courses that had topic by topic drafts. So that was what I was using. When you get to school, you see different drafts book, they are selling them. It's just that some of these textbooks that you're going to buy don't contain drafts. So you might want to buy. Me, I didn't buy. I just had this PDF that I was following religiously. So as I was saying, for things like civil litigation, one draft that you need to learn and you need to know is motion. So when you're drafting a motion, once you know the heading of the court, it's the structure that matters. Nobody cares if you know how to recite gross pursuant to order dash rule dash of the High Court civil procedure rules and blah blah of the court, know where the suit number, motion number is going to be, because those are the things that attract mark, or those are the things that carry marks, the parties and their designation. So who is bringing the motion before the court? Okay, you have the claimant and you have the defendant. You also need to have an applicant or a respondent. So who is the person bringing the motion? Don't worry, let me not bore you with technicalities, because when you get to
Yeah.
law school, you will learn all these things. So you need to learn the structure. And yes, drafts are very important in exams. When I was in law school, people used to tell us draft is 60% of law school. Well, I cannot say if it is 60% of law school, because When I did my exam in courses like civil, we didn't even draft a motion. We were drafting petition. Ehen.
Hmm.
So I don't want to say it's 60%, but you need to know your draft. In corporate, there's not like so many drafts. It's just resolution, notice of meetings, then letters. So for things like letters, you just need to know how to structure a letter. You need to know, okay, they will teach you where the your address needs to be, or where if you need to write the letterhead, how it should be structured, the recipient's address, the kind of format you should apply when you are drafting a letter. So just know the structure. The wordings, you can always play around it.
Okay.
So, and let me just give you a warning because it depends on the campus you are posted to. I went to Abuja campus where lecturers hardly focused on drafting. So, Abuja campus is one of the most lenient campuses that law school has. So, in Lagos, they will teach you how to draft. In other campuses, I'm not sure, but in Abuja, you have to take it upon yourself to learn how
To
to
learn how to
draft.
draft.
So, you need to learn how, yes, you need to learn how to draft it on
Okay.
your own.
Okay, that's very great. I'm looking at our time, and very soon we would have to end the session because already 30 minutes if you look at time. So let us just be as fast as possible. So yes. Lastly, for a question for you: what was your own best study pattern? This is a general question for all the people that come here today, but for you, you know that when you are in law school, when you are at Unilag, people have different study patterns. Some people can even study like some nights to bar finals, and sorry, some nights to can you hear me? Fikayo, are you here?
Yes, I can hear
So
you.
some people
Yes,
can
I can
study
hear
like
you.
some nights to
Yes.
comedy law, although Professor Bolo will show you paper. But some people did it for, let's say, criminal law, tort, or land law. Can you do that kind of thing? Crash read for the bar exam. If you can't, then what was the method by which you used? Another thing that we learned in law school, the law school curriculum, there are 20 topics, right? There are 20 topics per course. So criminal litigation has 20 topics,
Okay.
corporate law has 20 topics, civil litigation 20. So at the end of the day, you have to read 100 topics. Each of these 100 topics have their section, have their
Mm-hmm.
cases, have their draft. So what was your own study pattern that gave you the first class? You understand? So I know that people have different study
Okay.
patterns, and I wouldn't expect that they will just copycat your own study pattern, but at least they can learn from your study pattern in trying to model theirs. Do you understand? So, what was your study pattern? How were you able to learn each of those 20 topics in each of the courses? How were you able to put it in your week? And also, externships. Did externship give you more time to study? How were you able to go around those 20 topics, 100 topics in total for all of them during your externship? How were you able to, because I heard that you also have to register into logbook or something. So if you are going to go to court for chamber
Mm-hmm.
attachment and you are coming back, or you are going to go to firm and you are coming back, where is the time to actually sit down and read? So how was it like for you and your best study pattern?
Okay, so the thing is, in law school, you are being taught at least one topic a week. So you have 20 weeks of teaching. There are some
Okay.
courses that are actually more than 20 topics per week. Courses like civil, I think it's 22 topics.
Okay.
Criminal, maybe it's 15 or 14. Then ethics, I can't remember. Criminal, no, civil and corporate, I think there are more than 20 topics. Yes. So first of all, like I was saying, law school is like building a house, and law school is also very spiritual. You need to pray because you can't do this on your own. You don't have the strength to do it on your own. So if you're a very spiritual person, pray to the God that you serve, first of all. Second of all, like I said, law school is like building a house. It is step by step. You can't say 3 weeks to exam, you will start reading the whole 20 topics. You will kill yourself or you will crash down. You have enough. And yes, you will. So what I did and what I advise people to do is read every day. There's no two ways about it. When I was in uni, I wasn't reading every day. I would just read when I feel like reading as the spirit leads. But in law school, there's no tumbo, you read every day. So try as much as possible to read. So when it's before externship, there's an approach you apply before externship, then there's an approach that you apply during externship, then there's a different approach you apply after externship, because exams are fast approaching after externship. So before externship, I was reading to understand these principles. I was reading to just have basic knowledge. I wasn't cramming because I knew that anything I read before externship, I was going to forget, and I kept forgetting. So keep reading. It will feel as if, hey, I read this thing, I've forgotten already. Hey, this person already knows this principle. Keep reading. And let me tell you something. Read your textbook. There are some people that they've written materials, extraneous materials that your lecturers will sternly warn you about. And I had friends that were reading all those materials. I'm not going to mention their names so that I don't spoil their business. But be weary of tutorials, be weary of materials. And I saw someone in the chat say selective reading. If you do selective reading, you're on your own. You're on your own, because law school doesn't work that way. So before externship, I would advise you to read every day. I was reading every day. I had a study group. We were meeting every day to discuss what we have been taught in line with the outcomes. So law school will give you a handbook. I don't know how soon they will give you the handbook, but the PDF of the handbook, of the updated version of the handbook, is actually available. So you need to, once you have the handbook, read in line with the handbook. Make sure you're reading when you have finished reading your textbook, not notes that somebody wrote. Once you have finished reading your textbooks, make sure that you can answer questions in line with the outcomes. Each topic, there is the content, there is the outline, there is the outcome. Make sure you can hit the outcome. Yes, yes, go to your handbook. I was very strategic in my reading. In as much as I wanted to read and I wanted to have a first class, I just knew that okay, anything when no day for outcome like this, I won't stress myself. Not like you go and look, okay, today's outcome, you must learn how to draft a power of attorney like standard. You should learn it because if it's in the outcome, law school most likely will ask you, okay, tomorrow's outcome. I mean, the next outcome, learn the principles or learn the types of power of attorney, something like that. Now, don't just stop at okay, the types of power of attorney are this, revocable, irrevocable, this. Read it, understand the principles. But I'll just tell you, read your textbook, read your handbook, read your slides. Although, if you read your textbooks, you understand that the slides are just extracted from the textbooks. So I think that's the first lap of the question. So let me now go into externship reading. Now, I already laid the foundation that law school is spiritual. So for me, my law school journey is different. People have different law school journeys. I was praying about every damn thing, every single thing. So I had very favorable place. I'm not going to tell you how my externship went because I don't want anybody to come and cast me here. But I had a very favorable court and a favorable chamber, places that they allowed us to read. So courts used to rise maybe around 2, 1, and I did my court attachment in Abuja where there was no traffic. All of you that want to do your court attachment in Lagos, shall beware because Lagos traffic will just drain the life and the living out of you. So I had that time. Once I get back to my house, I would sit down, I would read, I would sleep, then I would read. So externship was okay, second reading. The first reading, that was before externship. I wasn't reading to pass. I was just reading to know. I was answering these past questions, topic by topic MCQs, and topic by topic essay questions. I had it all in my all on my laptop. So I'll use it to test my knowledge. I will answer it based on what I have read. So when it was now time for externship, I started answering past questions with my friends. I started reading. I started drafting proper. I had a drafting club in my court, yes. So after court has risen, we'll sit down, we'll draft. Then when we now resumed after externship, that is when the pressure, and when we started applying pressure, that's when I knew that I have to know this thing. So when you keep laying the foundation, it's not, you don't have to wait till externship, because the fact that I had a favorable place of externship or favorable place of court or chamber attachment doesn't mean you have a favorable place. Some people, they were resuming 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 6 a.m. and they will make them work and stress themselves. Some people, their court was sitting 8 till 4 or 9 till 4 or whatever time till 4. So you might not have that time. That's why I keep telling people, pray. Pray. When you pray, God will guide you. When you pray, God will just puts you in an environment where you can study and have a study plan. So I made sure that every day of my externship, I was reading something. I was learning the RPC. Something was just entering my brain. Even if I don't read, I should draft. Even if I don't draft, I should answer past question. Even if I don't answer past question, because then you can read and read and read and read. It's just God's grace that will make you retain what you have read. So I don't want to
Yeah.
shallow too much because I know how we have other people.
Okay, so for your last question, but before your last question, please, for everybody here, we are very grateful for Agha Fikayo being here, but we have two other, and she has been allocated 4 minutes and probably needs extra of the network glitches and all that. So she's going to have extra 5 minutes. So in the next 5 minutes, if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section so that we can address it right now. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section so we can address it. So for you, you would say that now I want to ask her a question while we are waiting for your questions. If she finishes answering the question and there are no questions in the comment section, it will be taken for granted that there are no questions for her, and then we'll just call in the second speaker. So that's the second guest speaker. So will you say personally for you that past questions are very, very important? Because there are some people that when they pick up past questions and they're like, hey, Jesus Christ, I just read this thing and I can't answer this question. Whoa, I'll meet in the exam hall. Were past questions very instrumental to how you were able to answer questions in the exam? Do you think that you are, and there's this saying that you are supposed to know everything in all the past questions before the exam because that is the best way yourself. Did that work for you as well? Okay, somebody's asking a
So
question.
okay. Okay, I've seen the question, but let me answer the question you asked first. So past question is very instrumental, not because law school repeats question, but because they might repeat question, but like I said, they shank us in our set. So we saw
Yeah, you
what we
said
had
that
not seen
a minute.
before. So I think you need to read past questions to know how law school sets questions. It's not like uni where they will just set one question and to say talk about the jurisprudential antithesis of Karl Marx theory of something something something. No, law school will paint a scenario and they will bring out babies. So if you're treating topics like interlocutory application, commencement of action before the high courts for civil litigation, and you are treating, let's say, things like trial, there's trial one, trial two, trial three, trial four, they can bring a question and mix everything, mix the topics in one question. So there's nothing like selective reading. So first of all, when you answer past questions, it's good to answer it with people. When you answer it with people, you know that okay, you're on the right track. And if you don't know something, when you hear people answering the past questions, it makes you know that okay, now before I didn't know this thing, now that we've answered this past question, I know it. And you should not feel overwhelmed in case you are answering past question in your course of study and you can't answer it to your satisfaction. You need to take it one step at a time. I think a month or some weeks before my exams, I started answering past questions by writing it down. So there's a part where you discuss past questions with people, and there's a part where you write these questions down because sometimes we know these answers in our brain and it's difficult to articulate it. And sometimes you might just be frolicking because in law school there's no time to be frolicking. You don't give background, you don't give a don't be giving behind gist. Go straight to the point. You
Point.
state the principle, state the law, apply it. Go straight to the point. If they ask you, law school questions can come. Comment on the propriety of this arrest, or let's say Mr. Dogo's arrest. Let's say they arrested Mr. Dogo and they slapped him, they handcuffed him. You will say it was wrong or it is improper. First of all, you answer the question, hit it on the nail, because nobody wants to be reading stories. Hit it on the nail. When you hit it on the nail, you state your reason, you state the principle, and you conclude. It should not even be written up to 7 lines, 5 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. You're good to go. But just make sure that if you're stating whatever you want to state, just answer the damn question first. Was it right? Was it not right? Was it wrong for Mr. X to have fired this something, something, something from the secretary? It was wrong. State the reason why it was wrong. They will not say, if your answer was incorrect, this is how law school says questions. If your answer was yes, or what would your answer, or would your answer be different if it was a pop? Like I'm just giving you a very vague scenario.
Yeah.
So you need past questions. You need to answer past questions with people, and personally, you need to go and write these answers down. They will teach you how to answer questions in law school. When I was in Abuja campus, I think it was during we had this pre-bar mock. Yes, pre-bar mock. If you're in Lagos, they will drill you, so you will know how to answer past questions from the onset. So when you write these questions down, it was pre-bar mock that made me know how to answer law school questions, because some of the past questions, that don't be careful about some of the answers of the past questions that you're going to get during law school, because some of them, they are loaded with things that will just mislead you. So you have to be careful. Your notes, your textbooks, and your slides should be your reference points when answering past questions, not the answers in the past questions. So try as much as possible to pen down these answers and articulate your thoughts, because you can be loaded. You've read these things, you know these things, but you don't know how to pen it down. So maybe like few weeks or a month to exam, you can start drilling yourself by penning it down. If you go to a campus where they really drill you, listen to how the lecturers answer your pre-class assignments, because it's even when they are answering the pre-class assignments, you know how to answer questions in law school. So
Okay, okay, that's fantastic. That's very fantastic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
mhm. Yes, I can hear
Fikayo, can
you.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, very
I
good.
can hear
So
you, dear.
that's yes, that's very fantastic actually. So it's very, very important to solve past questions, because through it you at least can understand how the law school naturally sets their exam, and you'll be able to anticipate the method they set their exam. You would have practiced how to answer the exams, and in as much as you do not know the questions that they are going to set, at least you can know the how they are going to set the questions, which is very, very
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So,
Mm-hmm.
out of the questions that were asked, a lot of questions were asked, and I don't think that you can answer all. Some of those questions we'll give it to other
Mm-hmm.
speakers to talk about. But I'm going to just give you some. A person asked, "What is the recommended text for each of the courses?" So, if you know the one that worked for you, because I know property law, I think property law is Dadem. If I am correct, is it property law or
Yes,
something? And yeah, Dadem, right? So
that them.
I know
Yes,
the one of civil litigation. I can't remember, but it's one big book like this that is for
Agaba,
civil litigation. What is it?
Agaba, or
Agaba,
Bobai,
yes, yes, yes. So,
Agaba
so
or Bobai. Your lecturers will tell you.
Oh, okay,
They will
okay. So
recommend.
they just probably they just want to know beforehand so that they can anticipate before they get into the class. And then
Okay.
somebody was asking if the law school bar exam is the only exam you are going to write throughout your stay at law school. Someone asked, "How did you get past questions?" Someone also asked, "How did you get past questions just now?" But throughout your stay at law school, is
You
that the
buy.
only exam that you are going to write? I think that is the only exam apart from the MCQs that are
Yes.
written a week before the final
Yes.
exam, right? So yes, that's the only exam you are going to write.
Yes. Yes.
Then someone asked, "Did you read all the 20 topics from all the courses?" Yes, I did. I read all the 20 topics from all the courses.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Can you hear me? Yes, I read all the topics. I've
All the
told
20
you
topics
there's no
from all the five
selective reading
courses.
in law school. Yes,
Ah,
yes, there's
you be
no
scholar. Oh.
selective reading in
No
see,
selective
if you
reading.
want to do selective reading, you're on your own, oh, because you
Eh?
can't predict. Let me tell you something. Yes, in civil litigation, when you read past questions, some people were reading past questions. They were not reading their notes. They were reading past questions and reading the answers in past questions. And I've given you a caveat about reading the answers in past questions because some of them are
Yes,
misleading.
they introduce
So
unnecessary things.
if yes, yes. Now, if you are following the pattern, because some of these tutorials, I've warned you, don't go and patronize tutorials. You pay 70% of your school fees to people that probably did not have great results from law school to come and be teaching you what your lecturers have taught you. That's laziness. You don't need all those tutorials, you don't need all those extraneous materials. Do the work. So some of these people, they will tell you, law school will tell you, law school will ask you, some of these materials in specific topics, they will tell you exam focus, bar finals focus. They shocked us in our civil. They were bringing out matrimonial courses as a standalone compulsory course. I mean, standalone
Top
compulsory question.
question.
Matrimonial courses hardly comes out like from 2015 till 2021. If you check the history of law school, the only part it comes out is maybe one question B in one elective question. I'm telling you. But they brought it as a standalone topic. And it was purely matrimonial courses. They didn't even mix it. They didn't even tell us, okay, answer this one, answer another. They brought it as a standalone. So you have to do the work, honestly. You have to do the work.
Okay, well,
You have
that
to do the
means
work.
for anybody going to law school and you are anticipating the first class, you are working towards it. It means that you must read all the 20 topics from
You
every
must read
single
it.
course. You must do
You
the
must read
work. Do not, according to Agha Fikayo, she said that she does not advise you to patronize tutorials. She feels that it's better you just listen to what your lecturer has said, read the textbook, and then answer the questions in the past question, rehearse the questions from
it.
the past question, answer them in relation to what your
Hmm?
lecturer has taught you and what you can find in the textbook,
Hmm?
and also in relation
Okay.
to the handout, the objectives in the handout. Very important for you to follow through. So, lastly, somebody asked how you were able to cope with 8 hours of lectures a day in law school, the stress and everything, because according to you, the first 3 months, which before that is before the externship, that you were able to read every day. So how were you then able to cope with the stress all through with 8 hours of lectures a day? Because me, after 8 hours of lectures a day, I want to go and eat, watch movie, and sleep. 8 hours, it told me. I don't want any other book. So, according to you, what did you do next? How were you able to read every day,
Okay.
even after 8 hours of teaching law?
Okay. I did not mention that I had 8 hours of class. So I did not
No, I
mention
mean, I
that.
think the person is saying that law school, I
Okay.
think
No,
Lagos
it's not up to
campus.
8 hours. Maybe
Uh,
Lagos campus. If you are going to Lagos campus, I don't have any support or advice for you because I can't relate, to be very honest. I cannot relate. In Abuja campus,
okay.
before externship, to be very honest with you, before externship, we're having 3 hours of lectures.
You have how many
After
hours?
externship, 3 hours. Ideally, it's 4 hours
Three.
of lectures. Yes, yes. In Abuja campus, we're having 3 hours of lectures before externship. After externship, we're having 4 hours of lectures. Then it got to a point we're having only 2 hours of lectures. I'm not
Ah,
I'm not exaggerating. So we
okay.
had the time. We had the time.
Okay, okay, no problem then. I think that will be all for the questions for you, Fikayo, because what is it called? We need to bring on the next speaker, and this is already 51 minutes as opposed to the 40 minutes allocated time. So we have spent over 10 minutes extra. So I want to use this opportunity to say a very, very, very big thank you. I'm very sure that a lot of people, I personally have even learned a lot from everything that you have talked about here, because I had this mentality of, okay, when you go to law school, be like say we go look for one tutorial, we good. But now you're telling me no, you don't need tutorials. All you just need to do is listen to your lecturer speak. So if that is the case, then I guess that I'm going to law school to go and sit down in class every day. From what you've said, although you've not expressly said it, but impliedly, you've told us that we need to be in every single class, because that is the only way you would know what the lecturer has taught. And according to you, when you are reading, you must read in line with what the lecturer taught and what is in line with your textbook as well as the handout. So according to you, those three things are
Mhm.
extremely important: what the
Handbook.
lecturer taught,
Handbook, not
what is in your
handout.
textbook,
Sorry.
and what is in your handout. So as I'm going to law school
Handbook.
now, I'm not reading
Handbook.
outside any of these things, right?
Yes. Handbook, not handout.
Sorry, handbook. Yes,
Yes,
law schools.
yes.
I'm
Law
not
school
I'm not used to the
handbook.
language yet. Tomati day law
I
school.
know,
I
yes.
will get
So
used to
that
it.
people will not go and be patronizing all these handouts and be taking it as gospel law.
No, 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 no. Handbook,
Eh,
please, not handout. So somebody said,
yes.
dear, call, my
Law school
question has not
handbook.
been answered. Don't worry. The next speaker, we are going to ask the next speaker your question. This is currently 53rd minute, and we need to go straight to our next speaker. So thank you so much, Agha Fikayo. I hope that probably before bar finals, you will come and do a little bit of hand touching on our head here as well, if possible, so that you can just tell us things to look for in our bar finals exam, this and that. You understand? So that when we are going into the bar finals, we just know, okay, this is what to do and that's what to do. Just the final thing before bar finals. So I will be extremely glad. We are extremely glad that you currently came to speak to us today. And we'll be extremely glad if you can do that one more time. Thank you so much, Fikayo. I
Thank
guess we are going to see you
you.
next time. Thank you so much.
Bye.
So yeah,
Bye.
bye. So for every other person, I would like you to give me at least just 1 minute. I want to call the next speaker. We cannot have more than one speaker at a time. So apparently, I have to go and call the next speaker. Tell the next speaker, oh, it's time. Please come on board. I'm very sure the next speaker is waiting for me, and the next speaker just needs my go ahead to come on board. So just give me the next. It's not going to be 1 minute, 2 minutes. I should be here. Thank you so much. You guys can hear me. Thank you so much for staying as much as you are. We have our next speaker waiting for us. Just give me some minute. Thank you so much.